Okay, I call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. I'm pleased tonight to recognize April as Donor Awareness Month and Parkinson's Awareness Month. We'll be hearing more about both of these very important issues later tonight after a public hearing. Clerk Fabella, can you please read the announcements?
Fire evacuation plan. Please note that in the event of an emergency, the fire department has requested that legislators and all others move at least 1 block away from the county office building in order not to impede the firefighters in their duties. Cell phones. Please silence cell phones for the duration of the public hearing and session. Microphones. Please be reminded to use your microphones when speaking so that you are recorded for the official record. Roll call. Archer.
Here.
Bartels.
Here.
Collins.
Here.
DeLon.
Here.
Donaldson. Eckert.
Here.
Fabiano.
Here.
Gerantine. Green.
Here.
Haynes.
Here.
Hepner.
Here.
Litz.
Here.
Lopez. Mayo. Maloney James. Maloney Joseph.
Here.
Nolan.
Here.
Petite. Roberts.
Here.
Rodriguez.
Present.
Ronk.
Here.
Waro.
Here.
And Waltman.
Here.
19 present and 4 absent.
Thank you. We have a public hearing scheduled tonight. Clerk Fabella, can you please announce tonight's public hearing?
Tonight's public hearing is on an application for the U.S. Department of Housing Community Development Block Grant Fund, CDBG, administered by the New York State Office of Community Renewal.
How many people do we have signed up for public comment? 1. Okay, we will now open that floor for public comment.
There's 1 speaker signed up, and that is Kevin O'Connor.
So good evening, members of the legislature. My name is Kevin O'Connor. I'm the CEO of RUPCO, a nonprofit group working here in the Hudson Valley. Affordable housing seems to be on the lips and minds of people across the country these days. And while on one hand that's a good thing, on the other hand it's because people are struggling financially and to afford their housing. And it's people from very low income to middle income about affordability and stability. RUPCO works across the spectrum of housing. Our mission is to create homes, support people, and improve communities. We do a lot of different things in housing. We provide rental assistance, housing rehab, housing counseling, foreclosure prevention. We manage housing and we develop housing. And we're hopeful that next week the City of Kingston will approve our proposal to develop 66 units of affordable housing for seniors at the former Alms House site that we call Landmark Place. In particular, our Home Ownership Center has developed the capacity and expertise over the years to really deliver 2 programs that are of importance to Ulster County residents: first-time homebuyers and housing rehab. Tonight I'm here to speak to you about an application for CDBG that we would like to make on behalf of Ulster County. The New York State Office of Community Renewal has issued a NOFA for home ownership, housing rehab, or manufactured home replacement. And the applications are due on April 26, and we are proposing that Ulster County seek just over $500,000 to help first-time home buyers. CDBG funds projects that fill important community development needs that benefit low and moderate income folks. RUPCO has a strong pipeline of potential buyers interested in buying a home in Ulster County. Today we have 250 households, over 250, that are on our waiting list, and 87 that are currently eligible if we had any additional grant money. We are just finishing up a 2017 CDBG grant on behalf of Ulster County that provided $450,000 to help first-time home buyers with down payment, closing costs, and repairs. The program was to serve 15 first-time home buyers. To date, we've already closed with 14, and we have 2 more to go. Tonight, we're asking for your consideration and support of an application Again, first-time homebuyer program that will serve 20 households with an average of $25,000. Again, to provide down payment, closing costs, and rehab assistance. We think that the market has moved a little bit. It's difficult to buy a home. It's costly to buy a home. We're competing with folks here are competing with folks that are coming up from the city to buy homes, and but interest rates are still relatively low. There is still home buying opportunity. There are vast numbers of people who are interested, and this is a program earmarked for homeownership that we have administered many, many times on behalf of the county before, and we're seeking your support to submit another application this year. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak at this public hearing? May I have a motion to adjourn the public hearing? So moved. In a second. Thank you. Adjourned. We have one birthday this month. Legislative Counsel Chris Ragucci on April 6th. Happy birthday. Legislator Hepner, may I have a motion to dispense with reading of the minutes?
So moved.
Legislator Runk, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor of dispensing with reading of the minutes?
Aye.
Approved. Okay, please take note that there are several important communications and reports on file with the clerk this month. I'd like to now call upon Legislator Craig Lopez, Chairman of the Public Health and Social Services Committee, and Deputy Chair Legislator Kathy Nolan to present a proclamation on behalf of the Ulster County Legislature to Mr. Butch Denner, declaring the month of April as Donor Awareness Month. Joining Mr. Denner will be Mr. Phil Robbins.
Good evening. I'd like to thank the chair and the legislators for this opportunity, the privilege of the floor. I don't take this lightly. I've seen this legislature for many years, both as a citizen and as a speaker. And this is my 12th year speaking before you. I see some, hello Hector, I see some friendly faces who I've seen for many years. And Legislator Gerentine, this will be the last year we'll be together, and I will miss you greatly. Not only your friendship, but your leadership and your intelligence. Thank you, sir. And thank each and every one of you for doing what you do, because this county is quite a complex organization. And I'm proud to be here with all of you. As you know, this is my 13th year post-liver transplant. I sat languishing on that list for 8 years waiting for a donor. In the 90s, it was less known, and there was no internet, there was no social media. My wife started a website, butchneedsaliver.com, and it raised some money and some awareness, but I never got a liver donor. And I was working on a film with Levon Helm and Steven Seagal and Harry Dean Stanton in a place called Hazard, Kentucky. Folks, you do not want to get sick in Hazard, Kentucky. They misdiagnosed me and almost killed me with treatment. Luckily, Warner Brothers flew me out before I died on their movie set. And a great local doctor here, Dr. Book, diagnosed me properly and got me back on the good foot, back on the road to health, and got me to Mount Sinai, where I was put on the transplant list. And I sat there waiting 8 years, getting sicker and sicker. And if it wasn't for my wife, Barry, who always had faith and took care of me, the family and your support circle is so important when you're sitting there sick. Nobody knew that you could get Medicaid transport. I drove myself to Mount Sinai in some really bad conditions. But luckily, a month after I got married, I got the call. And it was freezing cold. It was 2005, and we drove to Mount Sinai. And at the George Washington Bridge, they turned us around. They called us and said, "The liver's no good. Go home." That's how much of a shortage of organs there was. Thank God, I was blessed a week later. They found a loophole in the system, and they got me a liver transplant from my donor, Frank. God bless Frank's family, the Materas, and I'm here now 13 years post-transplant. In that time, I've been able to build a September 11th memorial in New Paltz for my community. I've been able to help the firefighters. Those of you who were here last year remember my granddaughter. I would never have known her. She came and spoke. She wanted to speak. But there's 9,500 of your neighbors in New York State on the list, 113,000 nationally. 500 New Yorkers, 500 of our neighbors die every year waiting for a transplant. 20 people die every single day waiting. Thank God myself and my friend Phil are not those people. But every 10 minutes a new person is added. So I'm here tonight to pass out organ donation cards and ask for you to sign up. But I'm more selfish than that. As Don Corleone says, I have selfish reasons. When you see the joy, I get choked up, when you see the joy of life that I have, that Phil has with his family, that any organ recipient has, the joy of life, it's incalculable how far it spreads to friends and neighbors and family members and your community. So I'm now shifting my focus. Yes, please sign your donor cards and give us your organs. It may be 120 years before we need them. But living donors, there are people here in Kingston. My friend Tara Salerno, Jake Salerno's wife, gave her sister a piece of her liver and it regenerated. And now both of them are living thriving lives. There's no cost to the donor family. So you can give a piece of your liver, and in 2 months you'll be back at work, healthy, happy, and you'll save the life. And you'll be able to look at the face of the person. We're all on internet. We all see those videos of the mother walking down the aisle with the girl who's got her daughter's heart. They all choke us up. That could be you if you think about it. Kidneys and livers can be regenerated. So I'm here to spread the awareness. I'm also to ask you, be a hero. Be somebody. We're a giving community, right? Every time somebody needs something, there's all kinds of fundraisers and concerts and things for people. This will be an individual choice. You'll be able to save a life. And I ask you just consider that, because I wouldn't be here annoying you today or the past 12 years. And for a minute now, I'd like to turn it over to my friend Phil. Before I hope I don't steal your thunder, but Phil is the son-in-law of a legendary legislator in this chamber, and it's my honor to have him and his daughter here tonight, Dom Svigola. So please, Phil.
Good evening. Thank you. I'd like to thank the chairwoman, thank all of you, and thank the press to please push this memo out there. Tell you a little story. A routine blood test. That's all it was. It was a routine blood test in 2008. Something came back wrong. One thing leads to another. You have it looked at, this and that, and they tell me I have a fatty liver. All right. Basically, your liver is a filter. It's a sponge. Okay. It captures everything that's bad and helps get rid of it. When you have fatty liver, in my case, the pores, the openings all start to fill up. And regardless whether you're overweight or whether you're thin, it's called fatty liver disease. There's other diseases like alcoholism and things like that that create the similar process. The end result is cirrhosis. That cirrhosis is the portion of your liver that is no longer functioning and is dead. And it continues and it does not regenerate. I was on the list for 10 years, September of 2008 until August of 2018. The last 14 to 15 months of last year, prior to my surgery, getting out of a chair, a regular chair. I needed help getting out of a recliner, but getting out of a chair was a task. And you watch it slowly, slowly happen. And there's nothing you can do. And you go through the stages. I don't know about Butch, but I was capable of receiving a partial liver. and that didn't work. That time frame came and went. Then there came a moment in March of 2018 where the doctors at Mount Sinai Hospital approached me and said, would you be willing to accept a liver with Hep C, hepatitis C? And at this point, I just said, I'll take, what you have available, and if I have to be an experiment, let's go with it. Now, Hep C 5 years ago they were able to cure it and not have it come back. But the transplants with Hep C only came available last January of 2018. I signed the paperwork and didn't think twice about it, knowing that if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. August 6th, 11 o'clock at night, my phone rings, and it says no caller ID. Answer the phone, and a woman asks me if my name is Philip Robbins, and then she asks me for my birth date. And I knew right then and there that this was the hospital calling, and they said, we have a liver for you. And the company is called UNOS. I drew a blank what it means. Julie? Thank you. United Network of Organ Sharing. This is a nonprofit organization that is huge, that works in the background, that you never know about. You only hear from them once when they have your liver or your organ. And 2 days later, I wake up after surgery, and I can tell you that what I felt before, when Dr. Florman and Mount Sinai told me, I have no idea what it means to feel good. He looked at me and said, you don't know what it means to feel good. I told him I felt fine. He says, no, you don't. 2 days after surgery, I woke up on a Wednesday. Wednesday night, I wanted to put my feet on the floor. They let me put my feet on the floor. Thursday, I was walking. Friday, I don't know what happened on Friday, but somebody turned on the switch. Oh my God. There's no other way to enforce this feeling, this issue. Life comes back into you like a tsunami. You literally are laying there thinking your days are over. You're on a countdown. I was told that I had 9 months. In my mind, I thought I had 2 years. After surgery, they told me I wouldn't have made my next birthday, which was March 14th. But the sensation that came over you, all right, to have that kind of feeling, okay, is the ultimate gift of life. Every one of you has the ability to save 9 lives just by offering your organs. Okay, you can be. Every morning I get up, my feet touch the floor, and I thank somebody that I do not know. It was a 54-year-old man. That's all I know. All right, his liver did have Hep C. 6 weeks after the surgery, they put you on a medicine. 12 weeks later, if you respond well, you are Hep C negative. All right, I'm constantly telling everybody that life is wonderful, but I'll tell you one thing. All right, like Butch mentioned, I would not be here if it wasn't for the friends, the family, the people you don't even know. In my case, I could not have done any of this without my wife. All right, she had hopes, wishes, this and that, and she kept telling me, it'll happen, it'll happen, it'll happen. There comes a point in time after 10 years, you don't think it's going to happen. And when it does, you are literally reborn. I'm proud to tell everybody I have 2 birthdays. August 8th, all right, and the one my mother gave me, March 14th. It has been an incredible journey, so much so that, and I still feel this way, and you may get a laugh out of this, but the feeling that I received afterwards, what went through me, okay, We've all said this. Everyone in this room has said this. You've seen a bunch of kids running around. We all said the same thing. God, I wish I had their energy. You know what? I got it. All right? At the age of 57, I got it. All right? And the first thing I wanted to do as I was walking around was to reach inside of me, grab a piece of it, and say, here, you need this. You need this. And give it to everybody, because it was an amazing thing. The whole journey, all right, where I am today, I'm glad I went through it. The 10 years were rough, and the last year and a half was horrible, but I'm really, really glad that I have the opportunity to speak to you, to share this with you, okay, and to know that that, you know, if I'm here for another 30, 40, or as Butch's favorite number, 120 years, that it's because of individuals like yourselves who just want to help somebody else. It takes a minute to do. You fill out the form, and you do it on your license. You can register at registerme.org or donatelifenewyork.org, and it's done. You don't think about it. It's a personal choice, I realize that, but please think about it, and please share it with your constituents. If it comes up, put it on your websites, whatever it is, okay? I can't thank you enough for this time, all right? And have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. He mentioned a couple of things I just wanted to touch on. Our county clerk is here, Nina Posterpak. New York is the last in the nation in organ donation. We're horrible. We are the worst in the nation. Only Puerto Rico is worse than us. There's a new law that 16 and 17-year-olds can sign up with parental consent. Please speak to your school boards and let them know about this law, and let them know that we're available to discuss it. Nina and I will be happy to come out to any school and talk about it, because sadly at this time of year it's prom season, and we know that our kids are out there, and God forbid we lose a couple of kids. And the officers know what a horrible thing that is to be involved in a scene like that. But the fact that that sad loss can give life is important. And we need to get that word out, too, at the same time. And Nina has helped us immensely with the DMV, and Sean Aquimby. And I can't thank you enough, Nina. You should all know what an amazing resource we have. Thank you. Enough of me.
If you and Phil both want to come over.
Yeah, sure. Well, Butch, it's always a pleasure to have you here. And I think I've been doing this presenting this for about, I don't know, maybe 5 years now as chair of the Public Health Committee. Yeah, there's no doubt that that your advocacy and has if it hasn't changed lives or saved lives as of yet, then there's no doubt that it will one day. And I know that it's changed the minds and the hearts of not just people in the area, but definitely people here in the legislature as well. I know that Ken is absolutely an example of that. So you know, I thank you for that, and I look forward to you coming back next year. And you always bring the best speakers who really have an amazing story to share with all of us, and all of that really helps to spread the word and take away any stigma that there is or has been in the past with organ donation. So thank you so much for that. And I will have Legislator Nolan read the proclamation we would like to present to you.
Yeah, I'll read parts of this. Whereas giving life to another by donating an organ or tissue transplant is one of the most selfless human acts. And whereas in Ulster County, 36% of all residents 16 and older have joined the New York State Donate Life Registry, statewide 35%, and nationally 58% of people are registered organ donors. And whereas a person who donates organs and tissues, donates organs can save up to 8 lives, a tissue donor can improve 12 or more lives, and whereas 36,528 organ transplants were performed in the United States in 2018, thanks to the generosity of the American public. And whereas we recognize that our greatest ambassadors for organ and tissue donations are donors, recipients, and their families, which is why our honored guests are here tonight to motivate and inspire others to become donors. Now, therefore, Tracy A. Bartels, Chairwoman of the Ulster County Legislature, hereby proclaims the month of April as Ulster County Donor Awareness Month, and we all in Ulster County join in recognizing the importance of organ and tissue donations and celebrating how we can each give the gift of life. Thank you, Butch and Phil.
Thank you, legislators. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, everybody. Phil, I'd like to give this to you. I've been doing this a lot longer than he's been doing it. Thank you.
Craig, do you want to take a photo?
Let's do a photo. Ina, do you want to come up for the photo?
Thank you. And now I'd like to call upon Legislator Lynn Archer from District 21 to present a proclamation on behalf of the Ulster County Legislature to Miss Julie Feynman in recognition of Parkinson's Awareness Month.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to introduce Julie Feynman, a physical therapist currently on faculty at Mears College in their Doctor of Physical Therapy program, where she is the Director of Clinical Education. Julie has worked with individuals with neurological issues for over 30 years, and she is working to complete her doctoral degree at Teachers College, Columbia University in New York City. She's connected to the Parkinson's Support Group of the Mid-Hudson Valley, which is a very active group with members in both Ulster and Dutchess. And their mission is first to provide moral support and fellowship to people with Parkinson's disease, their families and caregivers. Second, to raise awareness and disseminate information regarding Parkinson's disease. And third, to act as a resource center for members and others who would like to know more about Parkinson's disease. Julie, will you come up and share your stories?
This is my first time, not my 12th. This is really a little daunting. I teach students all the time, but this is very different. And so Anne volunteered to come up with me. Anne Olin is also part of the Parkinson's Support Group. She's a dancer and does a lot of movement and movement therapy with individuals with Parkinson's. So thank you.
I've been involved with the Mid-Hudson Parkinson's Support Group for almost 20 years now, so we're delighted to have Julie aboard with us.
So I thought I would, so on the teacher, right, so I would start with a little lesson about science, because I figure you're not all the science geeks that I am, to teach you a little bit about Parkinson's. So you all know that we all have a brain. I'm used to being a little closer to the board, but we all have a brain, and our brain is made up of cells, neurons, and our brain, all of our actions and functions are because our cells communicate with each other. And they communicate by producing a chemical that leaves one cell, goes across the synapse or the space, and into the other cell. That's about all the science you're going to get. So one of those chemicals that our body produces is called dopamine. Dopamine is a chemical messenger, see, I should move my notes, right? Responsible for transmitting signals that help to coordinate movement. So they kind of cross between cells, just like that. I just like that picture. So Parkinson's is a progressive neurodegenerative disease. So the cells in the brain over time all die. Hold the microphone, sorry. I told you I walk, Jay. So they over time, all of the cells degenerate. And because these cells degenerate, there's a loss of dopamine. So the cells that produce the dopamine in the brain are destroyed, and this chemical is not there anymore to go between cells and help to coordinate movement. So individuals with Parkinson's, am I supposed to point this somewhere in particular? It's not your fault. There we go, okay. So when you don't have dopamine, the cells don't fire properly, and individuals don't have the ability to coordinate movement the way we all coordinate movement. So if someone has Parkinson's disease, they develop a lot of movement symptoms. We call them motor symptoms. Slowness of movement, stiffness, tremor, postural instability, so a loss of balance, sometimes a shuffling gait, and sometimes even freezing of movement where someone will be moving and then they just almost can't continue. In addition to the movement symptoms, there are non-motor symptoms. Things like people lose their sense of smell. There are digestion issues, sleep disorder issues, depression, anxiety, sometimes dizziness. And this is a picture of what we've always thought of a typical, stereotypical actually, individual with Parkinson's might look like. They tend to get bent and flexed, and movements are small and movements are stiff. And it can really affect one's daily life. But what I've come to realize as a physical therapist is that this is very stereotypical and that this is truly the face of Parkinson's. So this picture is from the Michael J. Fox Foundation website. Michael J. Fox has Parkinson's and has done tons for research and for the cause. And individuals with Parkinson's are young and old and rich and poor and black and white and from every walk of life.
Can I just add one thing?
Sure.
One of the things about, Julia's explained a lot of the symptoms. One of the blessings is that not everybody gets all of the symptoms. But
Taking my story.
oh, that was an extra. All right. Okay, sorry.
No, I'm teasing you.
I wanted
But it's
to
really
lighten it up a little
true that everybody's presentation can be very, very different. So some of the statistics are that nearly 1 million people living with Parkinson's disease in the U.S. by 2020. Approximately 60,000 individuals are diagnosed each year with Parkinson's, and there are about 10 million people worldwide living with Parkinson's. The incidence of Parkinson's increases as you get older, but many people are also diagnosed before age 50. Men are 1.5 times more likely than women to develop Parkinson's. The combined direct and indirect cost of Parkinson's, treating Parkinson's, is estimated to be about $25 billion annually in the United States alone. And medication costs alone can be up to $2,500, and therapeutic surgeries even higher than that. Michael J. Fox organization does a webinar every Thursday, and I heard one recently that was called the Parkinson's Pandemic. And they said that by 2040, the individuals that have Parkinson's will double. And are we ready for that? Did you do it again, Jay? You did. There you go. So the cause of Parkinson's is unknown. There are some genetic components. There is a familial component. So it's possible that if someone in your family had Parkinson's, you would also have developed Parkinson's. There are also environmental factors that have been connected to Parkinson's, specifically pesticides. There's no diagnostic test for Parkinson's. So if you go to a doctor, they diagnose you with Parkinson's by taking a very thorough history, looking at what your symptoms are, and potentially testing one of the medications to see if it's effective in sort of taking your symptoms away. But there really is no cure. Oh, it stopped moving. What are you doing, Jay? There we go. There's no cure. Oh, now it's going too fast. So the progression of the disease is pretty consistent. However, there are things that we can do to help decrease the symptoms, to help level off the symptoms. So medications can help with the symptoms. And what really is exciting to me as a physical therapist, that exercise is being shown to be amazing for individuals with Parkinson's. High intensity exercise has been showing to slow symptoms and delay the progression of the disease. So why is this important? Is that many individuals that have symptoms, we're learning now that the movement symptoms may even come later, that the sleep disorder and the loss of smell, those things come earlier. People don't tend, I don't know about you guys, stomach, digestion, constipation is very early. And I don't know about everybody here, but many people, myself included, I don't go to the doctor until something's really impacting my life. So many people with Parkinson's won't even go to the doctor until the movement symptoms really start to impact their function. And at that point, 60 to 80% of the cells that produce the dopamine have already been damaged. So it's really late in the progression. Another problem, as Anne was saying, everybody looks different. So many doctors don't recognize Parkinson's unless someone comes with that very typical flexed posture and the slow movement. So many people that I see are misdiagnosed. Sometimes it's essential tremor, sometimes it's something else, but they're misdiagnosed at the beginning. And this delay of people getting an early diagnosis stops us from being able to intervene with the exercise and the medications and the things that are going to slow things down. So how can we change this problem, I think, is awareness. And so we were here today asking you to proclaim April as Parkinson's Awareness Month as a way of increasing awareness, as the group before us did so nicely. And by designating April as Parkinson's Disease Awareness Month, we hope this is going to get the word out, have more people understand about Parkinson's, educate the public, educate the physicians, and hopefully help individuals with Parkinson's seek earlier diagnosis and treatment.
Yeah, I just want to say that
That's my teacher thing. If there's questions.
okay, I'll be quick. That we've been the Mid-Hudson Parkinson Support Group has been asking people in the area for, I guess, about 8 or 9 years now, all over different municipalities, town supervisors, mayors, and so on. And I think we're up to about 33 or 35 in Ulster and Dutchess County who are also supporting the awareness of Parkinson's for the month of April. So you're not the first, but we're very happy that you're joining the.
Thank you so much for your time. Maybe.
There you go. So both of you just stay right here. This is a proclamation, the Ulster County Legislative Chamber proclamation, whereas Parkinson's disease is a neurodegenerative disorder that affects predominantly dopamine-producing neurons in a specific area of the brain. Whereas an estimated 4% of people with Parkinson's disease are diagnosed before age 50, men are 1.5 times more likely to have Parkinson's disease than women, whereas the cause remains largely unknown, but scientists continue to explore ways to identify biomarkers that can lead to early diagnosis and more tailored treatments to slow down the disease and process, whereas in the United States alone, combined direct and indirect costs of Parkinson's for treatment, Social Security payments, lost income is estimated to be nearly $25 billion per year. And whereas we recognize early detection and helping raise awareness to beat Parkinson's disease is essential for ensuring a better future Now, therefore, Tracy Bartels, Chairwoman of the Ulster County Legislature, do hereby proclaim the month of April as Ulster County Parkinson Awareness Month, and ask all of Ulster County to join with me in recognizing the importance of continued support and research in finding a cure.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming. I'm going to get some pictures.
I don't know if anybody has.
Oh, yes. Oh, sure. Anybody else who wants to come up, please?
Thank you. I'm pleased now to grant privilege of the floor to Mark Swyka from Cornerstone Environmental to share a presentation on the Ulster County Resource Recovery Agency's local solid waste management plan. Due to the full agenda and the time of our previous presentations, there will not be time for questions, but the Commission had its first meeting today, and any legislator is welcome to attend future meetings and also to direct their questions and their concerns to the Commission or to become involved and engaged. Thank you.
Good evening. As Chairwoman Bartels said, I am Mark Swyka with Cornerstone Environmental Group. We have been hired by the Ulster County Resource Recovery Agency to prepare the next solid waste management plan for Ulster County. Here with me this evening is John Giuliano of Cornerstone, and of course you recognize Tim Rose. So tonight I'm giving an overview of the process that we'll be going through. So this is a snapshot from the beginning of the process that we will be going through so that the legislature will be fully aware of each step along the way. And as Chairwoman Bartels said, the Legislative Commission, which you're welcome to attend those meetings, is going to be a significant factor in the guidance of the preparation of this plan. Got it. Okay. So, as an introduction, as I said, this is going to be an overview. I'm going to talk about the regulatory guidance that is responsible for the development of the plan, what's going to actually go into the plan, the different parts and pieces, and then the preliminary schedule for the process. So 10 years ago, New York State implemented Beyond Waste, the state solid waste management plan. It was a 10-year plan that was ultimately adopted on December 27th of 2010, and that plan is now up for review and readoption. And New York State DEC has been in the process of going around the state, meeting with stakeholders in order to take in input to the new plan, and that new plan we expect to be adopted sometime in 2020. The process that we are going through, however, is still built upon Beyond Waste, and Beyond Waste was finally codified into the New York State Solid Waste Regulations Part 360 in November of 2017. That's where we have the specific guidance for what the state expects us to submit. The goals of the plan are really pretty simple. What we want to do is we want to prevent the generation of waste. We want to maximize reuse, maximize recycling, and maximize the conversion of organics into other useful and beneficial materials. Ultimately, this plan is going to chart a course for Ulster County to have a locally responsible solid waste and recyclable material management program. So the contents of the plan. First, pretty basic, a description of your planning unit. It's going to be Ulster County, the people of Ulster County. We're going to look at historically how the county or the residents of the county have generated waste, what types of material, and what quantities. We're going to look at the existing system that the Ulster County Resource Recovery Agency manages. And then we're going to look at the existing administrative and financial structure. From there, we'll develop an alternatives evaluation where we will look at different alternatives to managing materials in the future, develop an implementation schedule, and then from that implementation schedule determine to the best of our ability what the future waste and recyclable and beneficial use material stream will be. So looking at each of those items, we're going to describe the planning unit, what communities exist, the population of those communities, any special characteristics, industries, schools, hospitals, other industries that will make a significant contribution to the waste stream. The regulations require us to look at these four components: municipal solid waste, construction and demolition debris, industrial waste, and biosolids. I mean, we will include anything managed by the county as part of this program. As far as the existing administrative and financial structure, we'll make it very clear for the DEC who the staff responsible for implementing the plan are, what the costs, revenues, and funding associated with the program currently existing. And then what we'll do is look at new and proposed solid waste regulations. We'll examine the green policies and sustainability initiatives, and we will address the environmental justice requirements required by Part 360. The alternatives evaluation section is a very important part of the plan because this is where we get a chance to take a look at what can we do. There are a number of different technologies that exist, and we want to look at as many as are practical and determine the extent to which they can apply to Ulster County and be a benefit to the people of Ulster County. Did that forward? Okay. So we're going to evaluate the administrative and technical feasibility of each of these items, the quantitative and qualitative impacts that they'll have on the waste stream, and how they will impact the planning unit and neighboring planning units overall. And upon completion of this evaluation, we will select the desired alternatives and incorporate these into the implementation plan. The Legislative Commission is going to play a very large part in identifying which of the systems and technologies that we will want to evaluate, and also which will make the most sense for going forward with a complete and responsible plan. So the remaining scope includes the implementation plan and schedule. This is a very important part of the plan where the future waste alternatives or the implementation of the new program are selected and laid out. And then we will use those to determine how much waste and recyclable material will be converted in the future. So the schedule for the project, we had our kickoff meeting on March 12th. Our initial presentation to the Ulster County Legislature in mid-April. I think that's tonight. And from here we have a series of meetings with the Legislative Commission, with Ulster County staff, with the New York State DEC, leading up to a final presentation to the Ulster County Legislature sometime early in August, or at least that's our intended date. So from that point, we'll have a public hearing or opportunity for the public to participate in the program, public comment period, and the expectation of initial completeness submission to New York State DEC in mid-October, and the very optimistic expectation that New York State DEC will approve the plan sometime early in 2020. I think I'll just skip past these next two because they were essentially a breakdown of what I just told you. And that's the end of my presentation for this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We're now going to move into a period of public comment. You'll have up to 3 minutes to speak. Please be mindful of the timekeeper in the back of the room toward the camera. I know that some people have brought signs today, and so I'm asking if you take a moment and raise your signs now so that they can be recognized and so that they don't distract from speakers when they begin to speak. Thank you. Thank you. Now, I also want to let the speakers know that if you have any written comments that you would like to provide, you can give them to our clerk and they will be put into the record. How many speakers do we have tonight?
There are 3 speakers signed up.
Okay.
The first speaker is Mike Baden.
Hi, to the legislature, Mike Baden, supervisor for Town of Rochester. I just wanted to thank you for putting Resolution 123 on the consent order tonight, consent agenda, excuse me. That is the resolution authorizing the county to dedicate the Algarville Bridge in the town of Rochester in memory of Arthur D. Lapp. I know his family is here this evening too, and just say thank you very much for your consideration.
Just so everybody is aware, there's a whole nother page here. Kate Rees-Hurd. She left? I knew I saw her. John and Annette Laskowski.
Hi, my name is Annette, and this is John Laskowski. John is a member of the Ulster County Agricultural Society at the fairgrounds, and until 3 years ago when he had a stroke, he was the chair of safety and operations. Last month, I sent an email to each of you, and I would like to thank Madam Chairwoman, everyone who responded to our email, and especially the Public Works Committee, who I understand is moving the handicap parking into a special, capital project. So that's moving forward. Thank you very much. Also, the fairgrounds has a contract with the legislature. You have put forward a 1-year contract. Generally, it's a 5-year contract. the purpose or the part of the importance of that extra time is for the organizations that rent the fairgrounds each year, every year. They need a contract, and the Ag Society can't do a contract if they don't have the authority. So thank you very much. That's it.
The next speaker is Sarah Weigel.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to be here. My name is Sarah Weigel, and I work with the National Coalition for Punish for Protecting, incorporated with Francesca Amato. I became a family advocate and very quickly learned that the family court system is not a real court. It is a private for-profit business that destroys families every day. Children are kept from good, loving parents and forced to stay in abusive situations, sometimes resulting in children's deaths. It is Sorry, I'm just very emotional and nervous. Fighting in family court has become a hopeless and never-ending battle for most families, myself included. I have been separated from my children for 919 days. I have helped countless families to ensure due process in family court. And as parents are forced to comply with court orders, they are told they must attend programs in order to see their children. Even when they follow these orders, they are still kept from their children. Parents are forced to stay away from their kids and mourn them like they have died. I have experienced this for the past year of not even having any contact with my children. I am begging everyone here tonight to please open everybody's eyes, bring this to the American public, to the attention of what the truth is. Our system is designed to do this. CPS workers are taught to keep children away from kids, from their parents, for at least 18 months so they can force adoption. Does anybody here in this room want to be kept from their children? Of course not. Does anybody want to lay in bed and wonder if your children are okay? Of course not. I want to be able to be a mother again, and I want to tuck my kids into bed and wake up and see their faces every morning. I am pleading to you, help us and help us make changes so that the future of America is literally in our hands. Please help us. Thank you.
Francesca Amato.
Hello, everyone. Sadly, I was here in 2015. I am the founder of Punish for Protecting Incorporated, a nonprofit organization. I have been advocating for children and now nationwide because I walked into something they call family court in 2008. What a joke. It is a for-profit private business. It is not a family court. It's not a court. Let me ask you all something as legislators. If you go into a court, shouldn't they have something called due process? Shouldn't they have jury trials, trial by jury? Shouldn't they have evidence? Family court does not have any of the three. They have a semblance or what looks like that, but it does not have that. And when I tell you it's a for-profit private business, you can look it up yourselves. All you have to do is look up the name of Ulster County, and you can look it up in every county in every state in our country. Ulster County is actually called Ulster County of Family Court. You can look up the Dun and Bradstreet number and prove that I am 100% right about that. And yet the American people have been fooled to think that they're walking into a court. I have an immaculate, clean background. When someone has a 7 or 8 page criminal background and a judge has at a push of a finger, just push a button, can look up a protection order on someone, it's the first thing they do, supposedly, when you walk into these administrative banks, because that's what they are.
then they can look up a 7 and 8 and 9-page criminal background with domestic violence, drug abuse, drug addiction, all this stuff. And yet they choose to ignore it. And you have to ask yourself, why would somebody in their right mind that we're paying, that works for us, choose to ignore child abuse? Why would they take children from good, clean background, protective parents? Isn't that what CPS is for? Child Protective Services? If anybody knows me, I'm a best-selling author of the book, Punished for Protecting the Injustice System of Family Court. I've done billboards around this town and several states as well. And I do a broadcast called Punished for Protecting. You would know that I call it Child Predator Services. Many places call it Child Pedophilia Services. This is an organization that works together with foster care. Foster care has 88% of sex-trafficked children fleeing from foster care. But did you know that they don't do an Amber Alert on a child that leaves foster care? Because they left, they weren't actually abducted. We have a very sick country and a very sick situation. And I'm sad that I have to be back here again in 2019 saying almost the same thing, except I've learned a lot more. When I was here in 2015, and I talked about that giant pink elephant in the room. Well, that elephant just gained weight. What are you all doing about it? We pay you for this. You work for us. These judges or administrators, managers, because that's what they really are, half of them are not voted in. They run unopposed, like the man in Ulster County of Family Court who refuses to get off cases, and yet he retaliates against advocates like myself. He abuses families. You all know who he is. Sadly, I can't say his name, but his name is spelled correctly in my book. Please look it up. My website is punished4beingaparent.com. If I sound angry, it's because I am angry, because I'm back here again, and we need to do something about this. See, I'm the one that doesn't sleep at night. I'm the one that gets the phone calls from crying mothers and fathers with clean backgrounds who cannot protect their children. Not because they're incapable of protecting their children, but because nobody cares. Because it brought in $4 million in 2016. You can look that up too. On poor families, so they say, but some of us aren't poor. You see, this evil system can affect anybody. You could be a politician, a police officer, because I work with many of them who this county abuses. As long as you do the right thing, they will attack you. If you have a heart and a moral compass, they will come after you.
Ma'am, your time is up.
Okay, well, I think I said what I needed to say. So thank you so much for listening to me, and I really hope this really hits home. I don't want to come back. Thank you.
Kate Reese-Hurd.
Last spring, I think I'll just hold it. Last spring, I began to speak to you about the dangers of fifth-generation wireless radiation, 5G, and I gave you folders of coordinated documents. A member of the autism community told me that this is also Autism Awareness Month. In April last year, the CDC reported the rate of incidence as 1 in every 59 children. It is now 1 in 40. Autism is usually a lifelong condition. With wonderful devotion and huge resources, we help these children and support them in adulthood. But what is going on? Why wait for the rate to intensify to 1 in 30 or 1 in 20 before getting a grip on the causal factors and taking care of them? Among the YouTube links I provided you is one in which Dr. Martin Paul addressed the Oregon State House of Representatives Health Committee concerning health effects from EMF, wireless, microwave radiation. This is pertinent to autism. Like toxic chemicals, these radiations activate biochemical pathways in the body that lead to pathology. The key messaging system in the body, made possible by the voltage-gated calcium channels in the cell membranes, is abnormally activated by our toxic wireless radiations. As I've explained before, these VGCCs oversee the production and use of all of the neurotransmitters. During fetal and postnatal development, Any interference with the brain's VGCCs means that the foundation of synapse connections between neurons will not be properly established. Dr. Paul described Timothy's syndrome, a genetic mutation in the functioning of the VGCCs from fetal development onward that's linked to autism-like outcomes. This strongly suggests that in the broad and shocking rise of autistic conditions, we ourselves are at fault by disrupting the VGCCs with nonstop radiation. We need to connect the dots and come to our senses to know when enough is enough. No good will come of 5G. We need to call a halt, like many places around the globe are doing. Why stand by as autism rates skyrocket? Please be appropriately alarmed and willing to take action. I hope you're also aware of the unprecedented drop in sperm count and quality, another destructive outcome of wireless radiations. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The next speaker is Diana Lopez.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Diana Lopez, and I am a community organizer for Nobody Leaves Mid-Hudson. I am a Kingston, Ulster County resident. Thank you for your time. I am here tonight to speak on behalf of the resolution for Protect Our Courts Act, A2176 S425, which would make it unlawful for ICE to make a civil arrest while a person is going, attending, or leaving court. This is what has been happening in our communities at a 1,700% increase. Our people are afraid to go in to any court, including family court, civil court, etc. We don't want them to be afraid anymore and seeing families separated and children crying and asking when their parents are coming back. Thank you.
Paul Mersfelder.
There you go. Oh, now I got so many mics. All right, are we good? Hi, everyone. My name is Paul Mersfelder. I'm a resident here in Kingston. I'm also a staff member at Nobody Leaves Mid-Hudson. Like Deanna, I'm here to urge you all to vote in favor of a resolution that would support the Protect Our Courts Act. As Deanna said, this state legislation would make it illegal for ICE to conduct civil arrests in our courts without a signed judicial warrant. What we've seen in the last 2 years is an incredible increase in ICE activity in our courts by 1,700%. Just 2 weeks ago, there was ICE activity in a court in Middletown, and just last week, ICE was here conducting civil arrests in Kingston. So it's only a matter of time until ICE is also here in our courts. What you'll see in the background documents that I'm sure have been shared with you is that prosecutors from around the state have come out in support of this act. This act supports the integrity of our court system. Prosecutors are noticing that witnesses are not showing up to court, that folks who are victims of crime are not showing up to court. It's a constitutional right for all residents of New York, regardless of your immigration status, to have your fair day in court. And so I would ask you all to support the integrity of that system and join with others, including Poughkeepsie, that just passed this resolution last night in support of this act. Thank you very much.
Father Frank Alanya.
I'm Father Frank Alanya, pastor of Holy Cross Santa Cruz Episcopal Church here in Kingston. I'm here this evening to speak on behalf of Protect Our Courts. I want to thank you for this opportunity to address this matter with you. I'm here representing the Kingston Interfaith Council, which is comprised of about 30 congregations in Kingston. Also the Ulster Immigrant Defense Network, and those organizations with which we're affiliated, like Nobody Leaves Mid-Hudson. The great faith traditions of the West share a mandate, and that is that we make ourselves and our environment safe places for those strangers who come to be among us. We receive that as a divine command. That includes our country, our state, our cities, our homes, our hearts, and hopefully our courts. In my particular faith tradition, this coming Friday, we remember the crucifixion of the innocent one. That innocent one, towards the end of his life, said that if you do something good to the least of my brethren, you do that to me. If you do something bad to the least of my brethren, you do that to me. That innocent one identifies completely with the people that we need to protect, who are those strangers among us. I don't know if you caught it, but last evening on the news, CBS News, there was the story of a 10-year-old boy who 366 days ago was separated from his father when his father was made to sign a document that endorsed his voluntary deportation. The man and his 10-year-old child were asylum seekers, and he signed a document that he had no idea what the document he was signing meant and represented. For the last 366 days, that 10-year-old boy has been hanging upon a cross. And I ask you to connect with this victimization of innocent people. These are not criminals. Our own laws say that these are not criminals. And yet they are victimized as if they are criminals. So I ask you, who have some jurisdiction and power to correct this dreadful situation in our courts, to take the action that you need to take. Thank you.
Rachel Winograd.
Hi, I don't have a lot prepared. I'm just here to urge you to support the Protect Our Courts Act. That I think it's incredibly important and common sense that if we want people to participate in the justice system, they can't be afraid of going to the courthouse. Thank you.
And the last speaker signed up is Ethan Barnett.
Hello, can everyone hear me? I would just like to say thank you for allowing me to speak today. I grew up in Accord, New York, and I was born in 1992. So, right, that's the turn of the century. One of them. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm kind of nervous, I'll be honest. I'll look at you. I feel like we're having a connection. I get that a lot. Thanks. So, I'm assuming that, since you're sitting in front of me, You remember when the Hudson Valley Mall was shot up in the early 2000s, right? That was one of the most terrifying moments that the Ulster County faced. I was at TSX, the skate park on Albany Avenue, and my dad was at Dick's Sporting Goods. He saw the guy come in with ammunition. He just thought it was a return. And, next thing you know, he's on the floor in the atrium. I called my dad several times. I didn't know when he was coming home. Right? We have all these children who are being separated from their families because their dads are trying to go to court or their moms are trying to go to court. We have these children going to school and never understanding why their parents never come to pick them up. We have children and we have parents being ripped apart all over our cities, all across our bridges, and we continue to let this happen, and we don't take a stand, so then they stop going to court. So then they stop going to school, right? So then they stop showing up and being a civic member, right? So then they stop participating in society. So then our shops go blank, right? So then our blocks close up. But it's okay because we have gentrification coming. We've got these big bills coming in, and as people are quickly pushed out and people disappear, we have the opportunity to cash in. And I'm not saying that's what's happening in the Hudson Valley, but I'm saying that's what it's starting to look like. So as we think about how safe our courts are, or what our county represents to the larger New York, right, are we going to be a model for the rest of New York? Or are we going to follow the lead of those who stopped caring, of those who stopped representing their counties, of those who stopped protecting the people that they were sworn to serve? Right? Are we going to continue to wait for someone else to stand up? Or is this a time when Ulster County will lead the rest of New York? Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Okay, I'm going to, as we move into the agenda, I'm going to ask that we take, or we're going to take 123, Resolution 123 from the consent agenda out of order in consideration of family members present.
Resolution 123, authorizing the County of Ulster to dedicate County Bridge number 136, also known as the Alligerville Bridge, the bridge that spans the Rondout Creek on County Route 6, located in the town of Rochester, New York, in memory of Arthur D. Lapp, Sr.
Legislator Rung.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just very briefly, I just want to share some experiences that I had with Mr. Lapp. Art and I served very faithfully on the Fire Advisory Board for 8 years. And Art was there every single meeting. And one thing that I've never gotten to highlight publicly, his wife Peggy Lapp is here with us tonight, and Peggy was the volunteer secretary for the Fire Advisory Board, and she would always she was always tough but wonderful with me personally in her position as the secretary, and she did so without compensation, without complaint, and did a fantastic job. And Art, he was never afraid to speak his mind, but he served. I believe he's the longest serving member of our Fire Advisory Board. He was really something, and this is just such a great. It's a great honor for us to be able to remember him in this way, I think. So I appreciate the town board and the town of Rochester doing this. I appreciate the Lapps for coming here today, and I look forward to seeing that sign on the bridge. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Legislator Haynes.
Having known the Lapp family personally for very many years, and having the distinct privilege to actually work with both Peggy and Art at the Accord Fire District, I think this is definitely a very fitting, special, and unique recognition for someone who is very deserving. And Ken, just as a point of reference, Peggy's still serving as secretary of the Fire Advisory Board. We're going to hold on to her for as long as we can. So I'm happy to see this go forward this evening. Thank you so much for your dedication and your continued service.
On the resolution,
We are a short yes.
We're a short yes.
The resolution is adopted 19-0.
okay, moving on to resolutions. Are there any resolutions moving in or out of the consent agenda?
Yes, we'd like to move resolution number 163 from consent into non-consent, please.
I'll second that.
And all those in favor of amending the consent and non-consent agendas?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. On the consent agenda as amended, all those in favor?
Aye.
Well,
yeah,
we've
we're
got
a short yes.
We have a short yes with abstentions. Abstention on 136, Legislator Waltman for family employment, and Resolution 169, Legislator Warrow for family employment.
The resolutions are adopted 19-0 with the exception of Resolution 136, which is adopted 18-0 with one abstention, Legislator Waltman, and Resolution 169, which is adopted 18-0 with one abstention, Legislator Warrow.
We'll now move into the non-consent agenda.
Resolution 481 of 2018, establishing a policy to prohibit the use of public funds to place the likeness or name of an elected officials on all Ulster County Board of Elections materials.
We are a short yes with one no, Legislator Nolan.
We're a short yes.
The resolution is adopted 18-1.
Resolution 91, authorizing the chair of the Ulster County Legislature to enter into an agreement with Awareness Incorporated for the 2019 appropriation, Legislature.
We are a short yes.
We're a short yes with the following noes: Legislator Gerentine, Legislator Haynes, Legislator Roberts, and Legislator Ronk.
The resolution is adopted 15-4.
Resolution 93, setting a public hearing on proposed local law number 2 of 2019, a local law amending local 2 of 2006, a local law adopting an Ulster County charter form of government for the County of Ulster, State of New York, and amending local law 10 of 2008, a local law adopting an administrative code for the County of Ulster, State of New York, to amend the term of office for members of the Ulster County Legislature to be held on Tuesday, May 14th, 2019 at 6:05 p.m.
Legislator Nolan.
I am voting yes on this because it's to set a public hearing, but I oppose this term.
On the resolution?
We are a short yes.
We're a short yes.
The resolution is adopted 19-0.
Resolution 120, amending the rules of order to modify the resolution deadline.
Legislator Archer?
Yes, I'd like to refer this resolution back to committee. I'd like to make the motion to
Is there
Second.
a
laws and rules.
Okay, on the referral to committee?
We are a short yes.
We're a short yes.
The motion is adopted 19-0.
Resolution 128, adopting proposed local law number 20 of 2018 as amended, a local law requiring restaurants and fast food service establishments provide plastic straws solely upon request.
Legislator Maloney?
I was going to request that we bring this back to Energy and Environment, refer it back to Energy and Environment.
Second.
On the referral?
We are a short yes.
We're short yes.
The motion is adopted 19-0.
Resolution 139, authorizing the chair of the Ulster County Legislature to enter into an agreement with the City of Kingston to provide expanded transit service in the city in response to the dissolution of City Bus and elimination of transit service by the city, Department of Public Transportation, Ulster County Area Transit.
Legislator Maloney?
Yeah. I was a no on this, not because I don't support the merger. I know the city of Kingston wants it. I feel as though there was some reasonable requests made specifically by legislator Donaldson, who's not here tonight, and he just wasn't brought into the fold. And I think we're missing out on somebody that would have had a valuable, could have been a valuable part of this process as they're coming up with routes and ensuring that the people of the city of Kingston are still going to be supplied with quality bus service. So I'll be a statement no, knowing that it's going to pass anyhow. But going forward, we've said this a lot over the last year and a half. I really wish the legislature was included a little more in the process.
Legislator Waltman.
Thank you, Chairwoman. I would contend that we have been brought into the process. In fact, a bus was arranged, a tour of the routes for the city legislators so they could familiarize themselves with the routes, which the legislator Donaldson was one of the participants in that. What I would say, though, one thing we need to keep in mind here is that it's not within our purview to be setting the routes. What we're looking at here is, I would say, a 30,000-foot view. The question at hand is whether the Ulster County assume the transit operations within the city of Kingston. That's what we're voting on tonight. Also, I think we need to keep in mind that any delay in this would the City of Kingston Common Council voted unanimously voted to dissolve city bus service effective June 30th of this year. That's only 2.5 months away. If we're going to look to see a smooth transition, and I think we owe that to the riders, that we need to have as much time as possible to accomplish this for community outreach and other purposes. And if we delay it a month, only 45 days to effect a smooth transition would not be suitable. And again, I would just repeat, what we're voting on here tonight is the merger of the two operations, not necessarily the routes. The legislature is not charged with setting transit routes. That's up to the transit professionals. Thank you.
Legislator Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So far be it for me to disagree with Legislator Waltman, but I will. I will also, though, for the record, be voting yes on this resolution. I think we all understand the ramifications for the city budget, and on top of that, it has been a goal of this legislature by policy dating back to actually, Rich, when you were chair, talking about trying to merge City Bus and the Ulster County Area Transit. However, I would also argue that when we've approved previous service, for example, like the New Paltz Loop, we actually knew what the routes were. We actually had an understanding of what was going on. I'm not suggesting that we micromanage UCAT or micromanage planning or micromanage the city with regards to these things. However, for a legislator to ask for information, I think that is appropriate. That is okay, especially a legislator who's representing that particular community. Now, again, I'm not suggesting that in any way, shape, or form we should start dictating routes. I will actually agree with Mr. Waltman that yes, we do want transit professionals who are trained in this and that route optimization software is utilized, right? That those are the things that we want to have happen. However, a legislator asking for information should always be supported. Always.
Legislator Waltman.
I would contend if you go back to probably check our emails, I believe we've all received a copy of this TransPro study that fully has all the bus routes indicated. And I will say that on the tour, that the legislators everyone who participated, including a couple of members of the Kingston Common Council, were provided miniature versions of this. But we all have this, and so I think if we all went back into our emails and checked, we would all see that we have this information, this data in the routes already in the TransPro study. So I don't think there's a question, and that anything was being kept from anyone.
Legislator Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. However, if you will actually go into Legislator Donaldson's request, he's looking for proposed schedules. He's looking for at least a basic understanding, I think, of what is being proposed. Now, I was not invited on this trip, so I'm assuming Donaldson went. I believe you may have mentioned that. And I'm not here to go and make his arguments for him. But I am just going to go and say that, just on the record, that we need to be supportive of legislators when they ask for information. Plain and simple. Thank you.
Legislator Nolan.
It's my understanding that Legislator Donaldson asked for more detailed information, and that detailed information is not available yet, and that information was conveyed to Legislator Donaldson. So I think that it is reasonable to ask for more information. It is not reasonable to demand information that's not yet completed or available. And so I think we are in the situation of doing what Legislator Woltman suggested, which is taking our appropriate level of review at this time and requesting that the additional information come when it is available. That seems very reasonable to me, and I think we should go ahead and do what the people of Kingston want in terms of getting bus service that's managed better and provides better service.
On the resolution.
We are a short yes with one no, Legislator Maloney.
We're a short yes.
The resolution is adopted 18-1.
Resolution 148, authorizing roof reconstruction at various UCCC facilities, Phase 1, at the Ulster County Community College campus at SUNY Ulster Stone Ridge, in and for the County of Ulster, New York, at a maximum estimated cost of $1,407,000, and authorizing the issuance of $1,407,000 bonds of said county to pay the cost thereof.
Archer.
Yes.
Bartels.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
DeLon.
Yes.
Eckert.
Yes.
Fabiano.
Yes.
Gerantine. Green.
Yes.
Haynes.
Yes.
Hefter.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Lopez.
Yes.
Joseph Maloney.
Yes.
Nolan.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ronk.
Yes.
Warrow.
Yes.
And Waltman.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted 19-0.
Resolution 150, authorizing the purchase of maintenance equipment and vehicles at the Ulster County Community College campus at SUNY Ulster Stone Ridge, in and for the County of Ulster, New York, at a maximum estimated cost of $153,000, and authorizing the issuance of $153,000 bonds at said county to pay the cost thereof.
Archer.
Yes.
Bartels.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
DeLon.
Yes.
Eckert.
Yes.
Fabiano.
Yes.
Gerantine. Green.
Yes.
Haynes.
Yes.
Hefner.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Lopez.
Yes.
Maloney.
Yes.
Nolan.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ronk.
Yes.
Warrow. And Waltman.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted 19-0.
Resolution 154, authorizing the purchase of county fleet vehicles for the County of Ulster, New York, at a maximum estimated cost of $805,000, and authorizing the issuance of $805,000 bonds of said county to pay the cost thereof.
Archer.
Yes.
Bartels.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
DeLon.
Yes.
Eckert.
Yes.
Fabiano.
Yes.
Gerantine. Green.
Yes.
Haynes.
Yes.
Hefner.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Lopez. Maloney.
Yes.
Nolan.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ronk.
Yes.
Warrow.
Yes.
And Waltman.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted 19-0.
Resolution 156, authorizing the purchase of highway and bridge equipment for construction and maintenance purposes for the County of Ulster, New York, at a maximum estimated cost of $2,545,000, and authorizing the issuance of $2,545,000 in bonds of said county to pay the cost thereof.
Archer.
Yes.
Bartels.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
DeLon.
Yes.
Eckert.
Yes.
Fabiano.
Yes.
Gerantine. Green.
Yes.
Haynes.
Yes.
Hefner.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Lopez. Maloney.
Yes.
Nolan.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ronk.
Yes.
Warrow.
Yes.
And Waltman.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted 19-0.
Resolution 158, authorizing the replacement of the Shongum Kill Bridge in and for the County of Ulster, New York, at a maximum estimated cost of $595,000, and authorizing the issuance of $595,000 bonds of said county to pay the cost thereof.
Archer.
Yes.
Bartels.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
DeLon.
Yes.
Eckert.
Yes.
Fabiano.
Yes.
Gerantine.
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
Haynes.
Yes.
Hepner.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Lopez.
Yes.
Maloney.
Yes.
Nolan.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ronk.
I'm an extra special yes because Fawn can say Shungum.
Waro.
Yes.
And Waltman.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted 19-0.
Resolution 161, authorizing the replacement of the Sampsonville Road culvert in and for the town of Rochester, in and for the county of Ulster, New York, at a maximum estimated cost of $550,000, and authorizing the issuance of $550,000 bonds of said county to pay the cost thereof.
Archer.
A grateful yes.
Bartels.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
DeLon.
Yes.
Eckert.
Yes.
Fabiano.
Yes.
Gerantine. Green.
Yes.
Haynes.
Yes.
Hefner.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Lopez. Maloney.
Yes.
Nolan.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ronk.
Yes.
Waro.
Yes.
And Waltman.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted 19-0.
Resolution 163, approving the execution of a contract in excess of $50,000 entered into by the county, Highways Rehabilitation Corp., Department of Public Works.
Legislator Maloney.
Sure. This will be the money in politics segment of this hour, like we seem to have every month, and I think it's valuable to have this honest and open conversation on the floor. We have an election coming up. One of two men will be our new executive, and I hope they're paying attention. Back in May of '08, big donations started coming into our then executive. $1,000 in May, another $1,000 in August, $250 in December, another $1,000 in August of '09, $1,000 in April of '11, $1,000 in July of '12, $1,000 in July of '13, $2,000 in July '14, $500 in December '14, $5,000 June 2016, another $5,000 from the individual's wife in July of '17. There's over $19,000 in donations from a couple living in New Milford, Connecticut. They've gotten over $2 million in county contracts. It makes me uncomfortable. I think it makes a lot of people uncomfortable. We all remember that the person taking those checks was our finance budget director as campaign treasurer. It was inappropriate at the time. There's one executive who sounds like he's the front runner who has vowed to not take money from LLCs or PACs, and that's music to my ears. If we add appointees and vendors contracting with the county, then I think a couple 100,000 people that live in this county will finally feel as though Ulster County is on the up and up, or at least the start, that the greater good is truly prioritized over the personal gain of a handful of inside players. The name of the corporation is Highway Rehabilitation Corp. That's what we're approving here. I'll be another statement, no. I think $19,000 in donations from a couple living in Connecticut. You know, it's this money in politics that has people, you know, every day we pick up the paper and we read another story. You can't tell me that we have a bid process. Every day there's another pay-for-play scheme. This is the county that had the jail debacle. I've had too many people come into my store and tell me, I was told in no uncertain terms, you donate or you get no more contracts. It was unacceptable. What was going on in this county for 15, 20 years was unacceptable. And I really hope that whoever the next gentleman is that takes over is gonna make the people of this county feel as though we're on the up and up. We deserve it. They deserve it. Like I said, I'll be a no.
Legislator Nolan.
Yes, we do have a bid process, and we have tens of thousands of people who have voted for our prior executive, and we have a lot of wonderful work going on in terms of highways, bridges, new mechanisms of regenerating asphalt and reusing it in place, a lot of innovative technologies. We have a lot of businesses that support the kinds of things that Ulster County is doing. And I think that you can take the opinion of someone who has less than that amount of support as being what is the view of the county, or you can take the view of the people that repeatedly voted for an executive who has done amazing, amazing work for us. And I understand the impulse to support somebody who leads Ulster County in directions that I feel very proud of and that are green and economically stable for the citizens. So if we're going to sling at people who aren't even, now not just not in the room, but not in the office, then I will stand up again and again and say, each person entitled to their view, but I'm siding with the tens of thousands of people who are very grateful to my kind.
Legislator Maloney.
I stand by my statements, and if we think for a second, if we polled the people of Ulster County, that the vast majority would not feel uncomfortable with donations like these, I just think it's a far-fetched idea that somehow standing with the people is looking the other way, and that this couple living in New Milford, Connecticut, every couple of months said, let's send another $1,000 to Mike Hine because we really love what he's doing over there. I just think it's ridiculous. I'm still a no.
On the resolution.
We are a short yes with one no. Legislator Maloney.
We're a short yes.
The resolution is adopted 18-1.
Resolution 172, authorizing the chair of the Ulster County Legislature to execute intermunicipal agreements with the town of Saugerties and the village of Ellenville to provide the services of domestic violence investigators to the Ulster County Family and Child Advocacy Center and amend the 2019 budget, Department of Social Services.
Legislator Maloney.
I don't think anybody's against any part of this program. It's obviously good. I got to know a little bit about what they were doing, very similar to this in Greene County a couple of years ago. The only issue I have is that we are taking an officer from the town of Saugerties. We're also taking one from Ellenville and the village of Ellenville, but I represent Saugerties. That's what I'm concerned with. And I reached out when I first heard about this as a late resolution at the Laws and Rules meeting last night. I reached out to the supervisor and the town board in an email, and I got 3 responses from 3 of the 4 town board members that they didn't know anything about this, so they weren't brought into the loop. It also was a concern that they're only going to pay $75,000. Saugerties gives an officer away that for 2 years. And $50,000 of his salary and benefits will be still paid for by the taxpayers of Saugerties, even though he'll be working for the county. All I was requesting in Ways and Means today was that we make Saugerties whole. They're nice enough to give away an officer. I think this came from an issue that was explained by Mr. Ipochi, that they were losing officers to schools mainly as resource officers. It may have to do with hours, it may have to do with pay, and we may have to explore these jobs here. Maybe we need to pay them more. But to just have the town of Saugerties foot a $50,000 bill and lose an officer seems unfair to me when there's only 2 locations in Ulster County doing this. I thought it was a reasonable request to be made whole by the town of Saugerties, especially since they weren't in. They now are going to get, the town board members and the supervisor are going to get a done contract put before them, told that there's a time restraint, and that they, if they vote yes, are going to be losing $50,000. But if they vote no, and an officer, if they vote no, that they're going to be holding up this great process here. So it's kind of an unfair position to put the board in when they weren't involved in the negotiation of this. They have no idea. 3 of the 4 town board members had no idea what I was talking about when I emailed them to question them about this. The supervisor, in an email that I read in Ways and Means, the last line of the paragraph was basically, I don't foresee having an issue with this as long as they're going to cover the officer's pay. So I don't even think the supervisor is necessarily aware of the $50,000 price tag that comes with this, and they're going to be put in a real tough situation. I thought it was a reasonable request in Ways and Means for the county to pay what it's going to cost Saugerties. So I'll be a no, knowing that it's still going to get passed and put to the town board. And, you know, I don't know if we're prepared to what we're going to do if the town board says, well, can you cover, at that point, what does it come back to us? It's already put in as a late resolution, which we weren't really given much on why it was a late resolution. It didn't look like a lot of late resolutions, except that maybe they lost someone in the past couple of weeks. So this was all sped through. I don't know how an appointee from the county talks to an appointee from the town of Saugerties, and they come up with a contract that is then put before a board with a time restraint and a lot of, you know, tough questions to say no to. So that's why I'm a no, only because of that $50,000, and I hope that at the end of this somehow the county decides to cover that for the town of Saugerties. It's a much, much, much bigger part of the town of Saugerties budget than it is ours.
Legislator Fabiano.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Myself and Legislator Worrow, by email, just communicated with the town supervisor in Saugerties, and he's requested that we support this at this time, and the money would be there to satisfy it, and he thinks this is too good of a project to hold up. So I will be a yes.
On the resolution.
We are a short yes with one no. Legislator Maloney.
We're a short yes.
The resolution is adopted 18-1.
I'd like to call on Legislator Ronk to read tonight's memorials.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The April 16th, 2019 meeting of the Ulster County Legislature is adjourned in memory of Joan M. Milham from Hurley, Eric Butch Blackwell from Anthem, Arizona, Beverly Crispell from Kingston, Frank Green from Kerhonkson, Teresa Korzecki from Highland, Ann Casey from Kingston, Clarence Miller Jr. from Kingston, Michelle Nerone from Stone Ridge, William Niffer from Saugerties, Dr. Paul Lurie from New Paltz, Leonard Schreiber from Milton, William Flanagan Jr. from Saugerties, Janet O'Boyle from Palinville, Michael Ferreira from Saugerties, Elaine Levine from Kingston, Bernard O'Hare from Saugerties, Harry Wyans Sr. from Kingston, Virginia Beesmer from Kingston, Keith LeBud from New Paltz, William Bentz Sr. from Kingston, Catherine Yapple from Kingston, Trish Lewis from New Paltz, Mildred Solomon from Tamarack, Florida, Thomas Lyle from Kingston, Anthony McGargy from Esopus, Eugene Coy from Clintondale, Colleen Daly from Saugerties, Lorraine Mason from Forestburg, Robert Newlassie from Bloomington, and Sarah Holland from New Paltz.
Legislator Archer.
Also, Helen T. Lynch of Rosendale, who happens to be the grandmother of our town clerk, Kate Gunderberg.
Legislator Worrow.
I would like to add the name of Ray Habernaski. He's from Woodstock. I served on the Cornell Cooperative Board with him, and he was a lovely person, and he was always so happy, and I'm really sad to hear of his passing. And Faye Quirk from Saugerties, Aaron Haynes from Saugerties, and Tom Biscolio from Saugerties. I've had a rough week.
Legislator Ronk.
Thank you. I just want to highlight Joan Milham. She was a former deputy commissioner of the Ulster County Board of Elections, and she was the mother of our current elections worker, Carrie Milham.
Legislator Gerentine.
I would like to add the name Bernie Caradona. He was a farmer in the town of Marlborough. Actually just had his granddaughter was born within the last 3 weeks. Very trying death for him, and also Mrs. Ben Gardo from Marlborough. Thank you.
The next regular meeting of the Ulster County Legislature will be held on May 21st at 7 p.m. in Legislative Chambers, 6th floor, Ulster County Office Building, 244 Fair Street, Kingston, New York. Resolution deadline is May 1st, 2019 at 12 noon. Legislator Litz, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Madam Chairwoman, I will make a motion for adjournment, please.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor? Meeting adjourned.